Songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions, they're only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. Some may have. Hey, Indo Lindo is here, and Fudge Nugget and Wolverine and Empire Jeff. Grimmy will devour your soul. Good man. I like that name. Oh, Fluffy's in Lorne. Nah, Lord Schnitzel, Mr. Croissant, Joseph Mason, Master Z, Devin the Dude, Vanquisher, the Dark Six, Kaiser, Alexander Viperius, Joseph Eli. Hey, you graduated, Eli? Good for you. Way to go, dude. Always interested in learning of you guys' accomplishments along those lines. Jeff says, my boy Curtis, what's up? Well, unfortunately, not my penis. I can take care of that, though. You got a notification, BTG? Susan apologizes. She didn't mean to do that. Alexander says, okay, easy, Alexander. We saw it the first time. Weebs should die? No. Weebs are awesome. Well, it depends. I guess on what level. Well, we would have to refer that back to Papa Franco, who is much more of an authority on such things than am I. Mr. Croissant says, fully enrolled at University of Nebraska, Omaha, and surprisingly enough, I'm an honor student. Very good. Nice. College Humor, Devin? Yeah, College Humor has some great stuff. I want to go back and, at some point, I wouldn't do it for another reaction because we've already seen it, but I do want to go back and watch some of the old Batman College Humor videos. Those were great. Those were really, really good. You heading to Niagara Falls, Eli? Cool. We want to go back up. We went, a lot of you guys remember. When did we go, guys? It was last year, right? Yeah, it was 2020. It would have been the end of last summer, I think. But anyway, my wife and I went up, and Spaz Kid hasn't been. And so now he's over 21, so he can play in the casino that's up there, because that's where that's where we're going to stay next time, because we went there while we were at the falls, and it was really, really nice. So, yeah, we want to go back up there soon. Just got a wonderfully horrible pun. Rainbows that break the law end up going to prism. Oh, somebody got timed out. I didn't see it, Big Green. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's see. The RVB reactions? No interest in them. There was just very little interest from the community in bringing them back. I went to bring them back, and everybody was like, "Nah." You gonna pass a kidney stone, Harib? Ouch. I've been fortunate enough. I've never had that happen. I thought at one point I had them. Turns out it was like really bad gas. And at my size, bad gas shouldn't be a surprise. But I've never had to pass one of those. I don't want to. It's not something I'm hoping to encounter someday. It's not something I'm hoping to have to accomplish someday. Yeah, I've heard that one quote. I like that one. What's long cold? I always heard it long cold green and smells like pork. Kermit the Frog's finger, yes. Suck me dung. Says, do you ever need a break from reacting to so many shows? No, the watching part, no. Every morning I wake up, because that's the first thing I do, is watch the Goosh videos when I get up in the morning. And that's like, I wake up every morning just so amped, so hyped. I mean, well, I was going to say we've got such good ones going, but I've been very fortunate. We've had good series throughout. That monster is really, hey, Arthur Morgan, good to have you. That monster is really, that we're watching now, is sweeping me in. That's some really well done creepiness. And as Philip, I don't know, was Philip here yet? Philip had mentioned, I like the setting I mean, as far as nationally, is so different than what we're used to. Oh, Durpo says, how did the duck commit suicide? He quacked his neck. Quacked. Hey, that's good. That's actually a good one, Ghost Rider. I hadn't heard that one before. I kind of like that one. My wife said I should get more in touch with my feminine side, so I wrecked the car. Oh, all right. Our first swing at misogyny. Well done. Henry says, hey, Curtis, I live in Virginia, and there was a thunderstorm and power went off the whole night. It's finally on again now. I couldn't live in the 1800s when there's no AC. I'd kill myself. I'm with you, Henry. It's weird you say that. So I didn't look at any like weather maps or anything. Was that all up? Were those storms last night all up and down the East Coast or something? Because you're in Virginia. I'm in upstate New York, and I shit you guys not. Overnight, it was like, I guess, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We had the loudest clap of thunder I've ever heard. It sounded like it was right directly above our house. I mean, it sounded like the world was coming to an end. The house shook, and the thunderclap was so loud. So I wonder, was that something that went all up and down the coast? Because it's just weird that and we surprisingly didn't lose power, although it was quick moving. Because that one sounded like it was going to end the world, and then the next thunderclap was significantly farther off, and there were only a couple more, and we couldn't hear them anymore. So it must have been flying by. Oh, you got to go, BTG? Thanks for popping in while you could, pal. Dragon says, Udabomb. No, Udabomb. In the U.S., a compliment. In the Middle East, an argument. Taco. I don't know why I kind of like that one. Taco Dude says, I'll never forget what my granddad said before he kicked the bucket. Hey, let's see how far I can kick this bucket. I love stuff like that. Oh, Giuseppe. Oh, that's awful. What do you call an African child that isn't starving? Dead. Oh, man. Mine says that moment when Sasuke decides to cure in your house. It was freaky. I mean, it was insanely loud. Uzan Ave says, what's the difference between a burned pizza, a frozen bear, and a pregnant woman? Someone forgot to take it out at the right time. A frozen beer, and Jesus Christ. Grimmy will devour your soul says, my girlfriend is German and we tried anal. Asked how it is on a scale of 1 to 10 and she said 9. Yeah, Big Green says Zeus is angry. Oh shit, Big Green. I mean, it was crazy. I've heard that one before, Rover. Why do black people not like cruises? They ain't gonna fall for that shit twice. Hoot says poor bear. She said bear, beer, whatever. Dumbass. Kaiser says fast food isn't fast. Otherwise, we wouldn't have so many fat asses if we could outrun them. Food for thought, eh? I get it. Food for thought. I've heard that one too, Bladed Cross. I like that one. What do you call 6.9? A good time, interrupted by a period. We don't have parameters here, walking meme. That's why these joke streams, I intentionally do not monetize them, so I don't have to hear any whining from Susan and company. We don't have parameters. Hey, Nick. He says, good to see you, Chris. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. That's kind of you. Yeah, it's good to be here. I should explain. We're a little early today. Rax's girlfriend is here from college, and I've told you guys they go to college about an hour down the road. And she lives in New York City. When she came up from the city, she got distressing word that the people she was storing some of her stuff with for the summer, they found out that they couldn't keep her stuff any longer for her. So we're going to shoot out there today and pick it all up and bring it back here. So that's why I'm just streaming a little early. I want to make sure, because it's got to be out by tomorrow. So just in case anything were to go wrong, I got to make sure I have plenty of time to make sure I get it all for them. Let's see. Poppy says it's 27 degrees Celsius here. I'm boiling. I always forget how. Okay, some of you guys who can do the transfer over to Fahrenheit. I used to know that. I used to know what the math was on that, and I've forgotten what you multiply the Celsius by, just so I know how hot it is for Poppy. God damn it. I actually did know that, too. Was it just over, is it 3 point something? Oh, so it's not quite 3 point, 80.6, Chrome? I couldn't remember. I used to know what it was you multiplied out to get, and I don't remember. It's 80. Okay, gotcha, guys. Thank you. Oh, 80's not too bad, Poppy. We had some last week. We had a ridiculous heat wave at the beginning of the week for upstate New York, especially. It was mid-90s and humid as fuck. Ah, nice. Mad Gamer says, "Oh my god, I think I'm the 69th viewer." Yeah, power to the people. Nah. Everybody needed to see that. Let's see. Nook says, "Why was the Mexican man allowed to the front of the line? Because he had Senor at the." Kaiser said, "What's the difference between a bomb and water? Clearly, the bombs would make it past airport security with all that water obsession." All right, SPX. I like this one. I like this one. Today was a terrible day. My ex got hit by a bus, and I lost my job as a bus driver. Yeah. 57 where you are, Chrome? Like I say, it's still rainy and drizzly and crappy here. It's humid though. It's not super hot, but it's sticky today. It's close, Chrome. We're in the low 60s, but it's a really sticky, wet, damp. M isn't here, so I can say moist, uncomfortable, low 60s. Well, thanks, Seymour. I appreciate that. TWF says here in Florida it's 96 and crazy humid. Yeah, we got really lucky last month when we went to Disney because it was in the low 90s every day, but it was the least humid we've ever experienced while we were there. I mean, for an entire trip. That it was the only time too that for an entire trip we didn't get a single spit of rain, and it's obviously because the humidity was low. Mr. Croissant says one of the scarier things about living in the Midwest during the summer in Nebraska is the tornadoes. Yeah, I remember that from living in the Southwest. We've got some severe weather incoming, and we get some of the worst since we were in Tornado Alley. Yeah, I remember that, pal. And Texas, wasn't it? There's a city in Texas. If you look back through history, I think it's Amarillo. But it had a streak of like 60 or 80 years where every 20 years a massive tornado would come through, rip the town apart, and they'd have to rebuild. I think it's Amarillo. Dragon says, "What is an orphan's favorite flower?" Self-raising. Oh, man. Ghost Rider said that's without the heat index here in Florida. It's so hot out. Florida man got the heat stroke from sitting in the AC. Yeah, it does. It gets bad. We did a couple of early on because we didn't want to take Spaz's kid out of school. We did a couple of Disney trips in July and August. Holy fuck, that was hot. Oh, Poet says, "Why are orphans bad at poker? They don't know what a full house is." Oh, that's it. That's just so wrong. Hey, I want to ask you guys something off the subject a little bit, but just to get your opinion. Do you guys have any thoughts on those what the hell do they call them? YouTube Shorts? I see it's something new they've added where on my phone you can make either 15-second videos. I guess there's two different limitations. You can do a 15-second or a 60-second video up to that long. And if I did it would just be random things because all day long random stupid things cross my mind. Would you guys be interested in me posting stuff like that? Or would that just would that much of my face just be a nuisance? I don't know. It kind of intrigued me. It's kind of because, again, it's something that just like the video you saw yesterday. Now, if I'd have been known they existed, rather than post a regular video of that whole thing about my life from 20 to 60, I would have just made one of those YouTube shorts with it. It is basically YouTube copying TikTok. It is Chrome. Gold. That's true, Fluffy. I didn't think of that. Gold. Yeah, we could do this. Yeah, golden shorts. I didn't even think of that. That's not a bad idea. Poet says YouTube shorts are so fucking shit, but that's mostly YouTube videos these days. People are afraid to be different, Curtis. Yeah, it's definitely a copy of TikTok, Lude, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, that's the thing, Poet. I don't want to use it just because it's there. You know, I would want to use it for things like, again, that would have been a lot more convenient than we're out working on the yard yesterday. Obviously, those of you who saw the video, when stupid shit like that comes to my mind all the time, and I thought it was funny. It would have been a lot easier to post that as a YouTube short because there wouldn't have been any editing or anything. I could have just shot it with the app and it would have posted. That's what made me think about it. Dragon says you would think the Catholic Church would be thankful for condoms. Less DNA evidence. And Ghost Rider says make them, but with no context and with a cliffhanger with no answer. That's actually kind of funny to do like some little segment where something big is set up to happen and then just never continue it. Hillian Gale says, is it true that you're going to be in the next Anime House? Oh, I would love to, Hillian Gale. I've said before, any of the YouTube creators that we follow, if any of them wanted fat old white man in one of their videos, I would travel to it to do it just for the experience, just because I'm such a fan of them. I mean, anybody, like you say, RDC World 1 or Brandon or well, of course he does animation, but Meat Canyon, working with DA, Devil Artemis on that one video was an absolute blast, and that was just voice work. I would do that with any of them. I could be Master Roshi. I'm a little big for Master Roshi. I think I would fit better if somebody was doing something with probably like Pervy Sage or somebody like that. Change your profile pic. Why would I change my profile pic, Barnacle? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Which profile pic? Poet says, I don't believe it's bad. I just believe that most YouTubers are copying the same format. Yeah. Obnoxious, loud person, dyed hair, sexual jokes, but not too sexual, so Susan is offended. Is that what's going on? I haven't even watched a lot of them, to be honest with you, Poet. I just found out about it. Is that basically it? So basically, like the gang said, just from what you described, a TikTok reflection. Dragon says, how did the chicken get to the other side? He tried to cross the road. A little bit of wordplay there. All right, Dragon. That's good. Chrome says, I was watching the latest Slime reincarnation reaction today, and I honestly forgot there was a Land of Lustrous reference in it. All those manga brought up are real. Are they? Yeah, Chrome, that show's so good. I'm so glad you guys voted that in, to be an everyday thing. God, that show is fun. And what a twist. I didn't see that coming, where Rimuru becomes a teacher for these kids. That was an interesting, like, veer off the main highway there. Gray says, if a midget says your hair smells nice, is that sexual harassment? I've heard that one, Gray. Like that one. I hadn't heard that one before, Mike. Chuck Norris tells Simon what to do. Another classic from Obama. Well, our Obama here. How do you circumcise a hillbilly? Kick his sister in the jaw. And then, this is from Totally Joe Biden. We got a lot of Democratic representation in here today. Here's a joke for you, Curtis. You can say what you want about pedophiles. At least they drive slow through school zones. I've heard that one. Pedophiles are what keeps internet scammers and telemarket scammers. They're the thing that keeps them from being the absolute scum of the earth, being the worst, because nothing's worse than the pedophiles. Mr. Croissant says a pedophile's favorite musical arrangement is always done in A minor. John says, "Hey man, can I have a request for you?" Can you have a request for me? Sure you can. Can you show the full design t-shirt you're wearing now? Is standing full screen. Remove the earphone and microphone. I don't think we need to go. I don't think we have to rearrange the whole room if you want to see the t-shirt. It's my boy Killua. That's my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter, which is one of my all-time favorite anime. Hillian Gale says Benson wants to know if anyone wants a gumball. That one was, well, everything Meat does is so creepy, but so awesomely creepy because I love that show so much. Brax and I used to watch that endlessly. Love regular show. and just the having to turn Benson's knob to get one. Wolverine says only thing worse than pedos are necrophiliac pedos. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there wouldn't be any reason to sustain the life of anybody that fits that category. Dragon says Biden says he wants to visit petting zoos. Trump said schools are not petting zoos. Oh. That's a good one too, Gray. Why can't you do reverse cowgirl in Alabama? You don't turn your back on your family. The Ghost Rider says, what's something my father, a cop, and the safety guy at a gun range say? No, son, that gun's loaded. Let's see. Money says, Curtis, you look like you could use a gumball. And you got to turn the knob to get one. Freaking, that was so brutal. Goddamn Benson. I've heard that one, TWF. How can you tell if your wife is dead? Sex is the same, but the dishes start piling up. Hey, Neil. Chrome says, so did you see the train wreck that was the G7 meeting? Give him a break. He's only been in office for 120 days. I haven't seen all the details yet, Chrome. But yeah, just a little bit I've read online and stuff. Things did not go well. God says, for bikes and sex, the same advice goes. Safety first. After that, ride all night long. All night long. West Boy says, what do you call a bus full of white people? A Twinkie. Creamy white center. I get it. Okay. Mike says, Chuck Norris invented airplanes because he was tired of being the only person that could fly. I love those Chuck Norris memes and jokes. Oh, this one's brutal. Oh, Poet. Why can't orphans go on school field trips? Parent signature here. Oh, man. Yeah. Bleona says, do you know what helicopter said to Mountain Kobe? That was, I think that might have been the most brutal meme I saw last year. Was that I saw that meme, somebody had illustrated it, where God is tossing a helicopter and it crashes into the side of a mountain and God goes, Kobe. that was just brutal. Love from India. Good to have you, Wolverine Gaming. That's a good one too. No one has. Chuck Norris has a diary. It's called the Guinness Book of World Records. Kaiser says, woman to a cowboy, please bang me. Cowboy. Okay, bang. Gray says, what's the difference between a tire and 365 condoms? One's a good year, the other's a great year. Yes, indeed. Oh, Eli. Okay, this might be the grossest one we've had so far. How do you get a nun pregnant? You get an altar boy to fart in her pussy. Nasty. Chrome says this clip from the conference basically sums the whole thing up. That and Boris correcting Biden's memory. Oh, somebody needs to correct Biden's memory. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take a quick peek at this. Open that in a new window.
With European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions. How do you justify that? And what are your plans?
120 days. Give me a break. Need time. Thanks.
When you're having these conversations,
Is he for real with that? That's kind of depressing. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with us here in America? I mean, we went from an absolute blustering blowhard right into a confused, doddering, bordering on senility old man. And the way he said it too. 120 days. It's depressing. Diamond Dog says Joe Biden is president. That's it. That's a joke on its own. Money Moore says I enjoyed that joke more than when Trump was president. Fudge Nugget says, tell me your favorite basketball player without saying their name. I'll go first. Oh. And then and then the emojis of God are a helicopter, a bang, a crash, a fire, and a skull. Jeez. Tiny A-Dog. I've heard this one. Why is it so hard to break up with a Japanese girlfriend? You have to drop the bomb twice before she gets it. Yeah. And Big Green says political ASMR. That was weird. I mean, it's bad enough that he said something like 120 days. You're president. You start taking responsibility right away if you want people to see you as a strong and competent president. But far beyond that was, what was this whole thing? That was just creepy. Lute says, it's the best joke. Americans thinking Biden was the better option than Trump that would make the world not laugh at them. Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Lute, it just, what the hell? I mean, 2 in a row here, and again, no matter who you're for or who you're against, Trump was largely, personality-wise, a bombastic buffoon. And now you've got Biden, and he's a doddering old man. He looks like he's confused and... Dragon says, why don't churches have Wi-Fi? They can't compete with an invisible force that actually works. Oh, that's brutal. Poet says, a Chinese man, a communist, and a spy walk into a bar. He orders a drink. All right, that's well played, Poet. That's well played. Jay says, Donald Dump and Joe Mama. Yeah, it's not been... I mean, what the hell? It's 2 in a row that... I mean, policy-wise, this is why my votes... Well, I guess they should anyway, but my vote is always based on policy because personality-wise, who gives a shit what their personality are? Because a vast majority of the high-profile politicians, at least in America, have garbage personalities anyway, on both sides of the aisle. It's got to be all about policy because holy crap, I don't see, based on personality, how you could have ever voted for either one of those guys. Sink says, when I see the names of lovers engraved on a tree, I don't find it cute or romantic. I find it weird how many people take knives with them on dates. That's pretty good. All right, that's good, Sink. I like that. A little concerning that everybody's always packing a blade. Wolverine says, do you think Melania played the Trump bone in band? Ah, oink. Ah, how many rats can I fit in my asshole? I don't know yet, but it's more than 5. Oh. Diamond Dog says, what do you say to a Biden supporter? I'll have fries with that. It was, and I mean, in fairness to Biden voters, I personally believe a vast majority of them, yeah, I would say a majority of them, were voting against Trump, not for Biden. I don't know if that's an excuse, but I do believe that. Big Steve says, this isn't a joke. I legit farted in the middle of the funeral. Oh. As long as you weren't like standing next to the casket and tried to blame it on the deceased, it's just, then it's okay. Mike says, when God said, let there be light, Chuck said, say please. Good old Chuck Norris jokes. I love it. Sink says, give a man a match and he'll be warm for a few hours. Set a man on fire and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Just trying to help. I've heard that one, Mr. Croissant, and it's one of my all-time favorites. And I actually heard it here in a joke stream, and it's one of the ones that was so good it actually stuck to my horrible memory. What's one thing a young teen mom and the fetus inside of her have in common? Both are thinking, shit, my mom's going to kill me. That one's horrible, but it's one of my all-time favorites. Dragon says, all politicians are self-centered crooks and liars, no matter what party they belong to. You know, Dragon, it's sad. I was, for most of my life, I was never somebody that came down too hard on politicians, but the current crop we have, it's I don't know of any, again, top-end politicians that are at a national level, or even high in a state level, who aren't all about partisan politics. They don't give a fuck about us. I mean, us being the rank and file citizens. It's all about advancing their own agendas. And I can't even say that. It's all about advancing a party agenda. Because everybody on both sides is afraid to buck the party. You got the Republicans terrified to buck anything that the Trump supporters want because they fear there's too many of them. They won't be able to win an election without their support. And you got the Democrats terrified to buck anything that the extremists in their party want because they're afraid of getting hit by Twitter mobs. And that's how they base everything. You don't have a politician on a national level, at least here in America, who will go down and say, this is what I believe down the line, and have it be honest beliefs without party backing or without party influence. And it's unfortunate. It just doesn't exist anymore. Oh, nice. Chrome says, I'm back. I'm cooking a sweet baked potato. Nice. Alex says, you ever just wake up and become a carrot? On a serious note. Poet says, politicians will offer you the world, but when they get into office, they'll think, shit, maybe that's not in my best interest, no matter what side. Yeah, correct. And I'm not somebody who's a lifetime cynic when it comes to politics or something. I've seen this develop over my life to get to where it is now. I mean, years ago, there was a lot more reaching across the aisle, and there were a lot more politicians on both sides who were more than willing to buck their party line if that didn't happen to be their given perspective on things. I mean, it just amazes me too. And on both sides, again, if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, and you state a view or a perspective that isn't in line with what the party rank and file believe, you're no good and you're a traitor to them. You can't just have your own opinions. Oh, hell, Manchin in West Virginia goes through it all the time. Everybody knows that Joe Manchin is from a heavily Republican state. And everyone knows that he is a very conservative Democrat. He votes with Democrats the vast majority of the time. But very conservative in a lot of his beliefs. But now you look at social media, he gets crucified every day by people on the left because he's not towing the party line. He doesn't have to toe the party line. He's doing what he believes and what he thinks is in the best interests of the people who elected him. It's not a surprise. He's always been this person. But man, I mean, these people just despise him. I don't know. Dragon says, what is one thing you can say at a funeral and when having sex? She was too young. Oh, Dragon. Oh. But at least in one of those places, it won't get the FBI involved when you say it. Nolan says, Twitter bans conservatives for being conservatives. This isn't a free speech issue. We can ban whoever we want. Twitter, when Nigeria bans them, this is a very bad free speech issue. How dare they? I did see that. Yeah, that's very true, Nolan. Twitter was very, very uneven about their take on that. Well put, Mr. Croissant. If con is the opposite of pro, that explains why our Congress is the opposite of progress. Yeah, well put. And unfortunate and true. That's pretty good, Mike. I never heard that one either. Don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things. Good, solid life advice right there. Chrome says, I think the bigger issue is how chummy a lot of politicians are with each other behind the scenes. Agreed. They're too comfortable in their parties. They're not challenged often. It's basically a mono party. I completely agree. And again, the reason I always preface that, when I say that, it's become, to a large degree, politicians now want us, the rank and file, at each other's throats. And I've never believed that prior to the last several years, because it wasn't the case prior to the last several years. And it's unfortunate. And they because everything has become so tribal here, you're on one side or the other, they need us to be at one another's throats, and it works to their benefit. Mike says, well, not a carrot, but one morning my grandfather was in a car accident and now he's a vegetable. Monkey D. Louis. Extremely dark joke. Alrighty. What do Michelangelo and Kurt Cobain have in common? They both used their brains to paint the ceiling. That was pretty dark. Yep. At least Kurt Cobain wasn't in the Sistine Chapel when he did it. Sink, this is a good one. Listen to this one, guys. I like this one. Sink says, I hate double standards. Burn a body at a crematorium, you're being a respectful friend. Do it at a home, and you're destroying evidence. I like that one. That's a good one. Mr. Croissant says, watching my daughter at the park earlier. Another parent asked, which one is yours? Just for fun, I said I'm still choosing. I'm now under interrogation by the police. Oh, that's pretty good. I like that one. I'm still choosing. Well played. Idi Amin. Good to see you again, pal. What's the difference between a hippie chick and a hockey player? The hockey player showers after 3 periods. Hey, it's a good joke day when we can work in a hippie joke. That's quality. Das Brot says, why did Nami join the Straw Hats? Because Luffy has a big D in the middle. Ah, yes. Mr. Croissant says a man went into a library and asked for a book on how to commit suicide. The librarian said, fuck off, you won't bring it back. I've heard that one. I like that one. Gray says, the toaster, also known as the ultimate bomb bath. That's good. Poet, that's excellent. What did communists use to light their homes before candles? Electricity. That's a good, I like that one. I was going to say I'm going to try and remember that one, but we all know how anything goes when I try and remember something. I've heard that one word, cold cuts. As I get older, I remember all the people I lost along the way. Maybe a career as a tour guide was not the right choice. Chrome says, at least we can always look forward to 2024. The Rock versus Oprah versus Bloomberg. Oh, jeez. It's depressing, Chrome. It really is. Again, I take no pride in saying that, but really, I mean, when you look at it, take a step back from being involved in the politics yourself and look at it as a whole. Trust me, politicians aren't worried about us. They're worried about themselves and maintaining power and their specific agendas. Period. That's why it doesn't matter. You're not going to talk anybody from the extreme left. It doesn't matter how many conversations you have with them, what points you show them, they're not going to change their stance. And the exact same is true for the extreme right. And both parties are afraid of those, even the more centrist people are afraid of those extremist arms. So it's always going to be this way, or it's going to be this way for the near future anyway. Yeah, if Chuck Norris is in a fighting game, Kaiser says, is it mortal versus immortal combat? Jesus Christ, Sink. What do you call a blonde in the freezer? Her parents named her Cindy, so we should probably continue to call her that. She was supposed to graduate tomorrow. What the hell? Jesus. I'm playing awful. That's terrible. Nolan says an explosion happened at a French cheese factory. All that was left was debris. Terrible puns. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you for popping in and sharing some jokes with me. Again, I know it was a short stream, but as I said, I gotta go. I gotta head up the road to Braxis College to pick up a bunch of stuff and bring it back here. And we have to get everything out by tomorrow. So I just want to make sure I get started early enough in the afternoon that if anything were to go wrong, we got plenty of time to take care of it all. Great lineup of jokes again. You guys are the true MVPs. You are that was some great stuff. I appreciate you hanging out with me, having fun with me. It's Monday, but you know what? I'm feeling pretty good for a Monday today. I don't know why. I just feel hyped. So this is even though it's Monday sticky stuff, and Monday sticky stuff is kind of it's fucking Monday. It's pretty good. It's not Friday. It's not up to Thursday standards, but it's clearly significantly better than your typical Monday sticky stuff. So get prepared. It's on your way. That's right, Oink. It's on its way. It's special. It's for you. It's a pick-me-up on your Monday. Here comes Pampu Pampu. Sticky stuff for you. For you. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you. It's all joke infused because we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and it's never a joke, but it's always funny. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.